All right, everybody. Good evening. Evening, at least in South Africa. I'm not sure where you're joining us from, but it's really, really great to be with you in this webinar. I see people are flying into the room, so we've got hundreds and hundreds already in the room. But before we get going, firstly, if you can hear me loud and clear, there's a chat area. It is not open to the public, meaning you can't see everyone else's chat. I'll explain why just now. But in the meantime, if you can just say yes, hi, we can hear you, just so I can get an indication that everyone can hear me loud and clear. I see some of my students coming in here first. You guys have seen this presentation, so you're welcome to listen again. You know, the first five people responded were students. All right, brilliant. Now, there's always a bit of a delay, and now it's just like flying. Okay, so from what I can, I can only grab as they fly past, but I hear that most people are saying, hi, yes, we can hear you. That's great, loud and clear. Excellent, excellent. Excellent. Okay, brilliant. So the reason that the chat's off, so we normally leave the chat open in the beginning so you can just sort of see and interact with other people. But I stupidly, or I should say my team, but I'm in charge of it, we made a mistake with our configuration, and the first sort of 200-300 people that registered had their email as their name. So if that was the case, when you came in, it would show your email. So I didn't want the email to be shown to, 500-600 people. So I've just turned the chat off. So that's okay. But please, we can see it. Our team can see it. If you've got any problems, I will ask a lot of questions. Please interact with me. That's very important. And my team will answer any questions that they can as well, be it technical stuff or whatever. All right. So I know, and yes, if your network's slow, unless everyone tells us, or a lot of people tell us, my team will normally notify me because they're in different spaces on different networks. It may well be you. And there's a little reset button at the bottom, which is sometimes worth clicking on, and it just resets. And it often fixes, like if you lose sound or something to that effect as a whole. All right. So next question before we get going is, where are you guys joining us from? So I know that it's mostly people from our community. We do have some Facebook people as well. But first, just tell me where you're joining us from. Are you joining us from South Africa? If you are, which city or town? And if you're from another country, let us know the country as well. Where are you joining us from today? Team, if you can just reply to Sharad there. I think he can't hear us. Just let him know that we are broadcasting. Okay, so all over South Africa. Oh, now it's going too fast. Too many people in the room. It's the problem with these chat rooms, okay? So we got people from Namibia and Zimbabwe and Botswana, and I think I saw Kenya there. There's another Kenya. So tons all over South Africa, every city area in South Africa, which is great. And then people from, like I said, most of our neighboring countries, Botswana, Zimbabwe, and Namibia, but also from Malawi and Tanzania and Kenya, which is great. And there's even some people, I think somebody just shot through there that's joining us from I think it was the Philippines. I know somebody joining us from Dubai. So that's cool. So next and last question before we sort of get going is, did you come from my community? In other words, did you receive an email that said, join us on this webinar because you're on our database? Or did you come from Facebook? And what I mean by Facebook is you saw an ad and you joined us. If you came from Facebook, type in Facebook. If you came from our community, just type in community. You could have also come from our Facebook page, which means you're part of our community, and then just type in community. But if you saw an ad from Facebook, type in Facebook or community, just so I get an indication of clever people use the abbreviation. I would do that as well. Okay, so it's not really helping because it's going so fast. I'm just saying community, Facebook, community. So how many people are in the room now? This is insane. Oh my God. Okay. This is going to be hectic. All right, so going to be interested in communicating with you guys, but I'll do my best, because you can imagine when hundreds of people respond to a question, how fast it appears in the chat box on my side. So we'll do our best to work through it. There is a little, when you type something in, you'll see that little button next to it that's for a question. If you click on that, it highlights it for us. So if there's a particular question, you might want to use that just so you stand out, because otherwise, we get hundreds and hundreds of comments through the process. How many people in the room, Louise? It's closing on. Louise is one of my students. We knocking on the door of 400, 500. It's moving in that sort of direction, which I'm pretty surprised by it. It's a very high turnout ratio, so very excited about that. Anyway, all right, so let's get into the teaching, okay? Louise is one of my students, so she's asking a question. I should answer it privately with her afterwards, but anyway. All right, so let's get going. So what are you going to learn today in the next 7 hours that I booked you for? You guys did get the memo about it being 7 hours long. I'm just kidding. Please don't all answer at once. It's 2 hours, of course, that you committed to. So what are you going to learn today is why most people, including you, because it'll be in the case of 95% of you will have this problem, why do you fail in growing your business effectively? Also, the blueprint I use to make over 50 million Rand, which is about $4 million for those that aren't from South Africa. But please have a Google app somewhere where you can just check the Rand versus dollar conversion. It's going to take really long. Most people from South Africa, so we use Rand as an example. But just if you're unsure, I know it's a 13 to 1 or 12 point something to 1. But anyway, 50 million Rand in 3 years, and we're currently using to make over 400 million Rand in the next 3 years. We'll have 2020. And the other thing I'm going to share with you is how I can help a very select group of you. So it's going to be for a very select group, but how we can help you personally actually dramatically grow your business as well. So we'll get to that towards the end. So why is this different? Well, it's tried and tested. Not just by me, but by my many multimillionaire mentors, people like Frank Kern and Brendan Burchard, and sort of leaders in the space of online marketing in particular, and various of our collective clients. So what I'm sharing with you is not something I made up. Okay, what I'm sharing with you is truly what has been working, not just for me, that helped me grow my business tremendously, but there are admin in the room. Sorry, guys, it's just that there's so many things coming through. I see somebody's saying, are there any admin? There are admin in the room, but it's just going so fast. Yeah, and that number, Nelson, is way below what's actually in there, so it's probably delayed or something. Anyway, I'm going to hide my comments for a while, otherwise I get distracted by them. All right, so it's tried and tested, not just by me, but by many people in the industry, and that's what we're going to share with you. It's not something we just made up. It's not some theory we looked up. Also, it helped me take $100,000 business to a multi-million-dollar business in 18 months. That was between 2014 and 2015. But I want to disclaim it because I mention my results sometimes. Please, they are not typical, and I'm not in any way implying that you're going to grow your business by 20 times in a year or 2 years. You can grow your business significantly by implementing this blueprint and these teachings, but I'm not trying to imply that this is what you're all going to get. Okay, I'm just sort of using it as examples in terms of qualifying what we're sharing with you and how effectively it's worked. Some critical factors before we get going. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme, okay? I do not, if you are here to, do something with minimal effort and make a fortune, and it's going to happen in 6 weeks or 6 days or 6 hours, you might as well leave, because I'm not going to share anything with you that's going to make you rich overnight, okay? It doesn't exist. The second thing is, you're not going to sit on your ass and just make a lot of money. All right. So if you're looking for like an easy way, if it was easy to make a lot of money, there'd be a lot more rich people in the world. All right. So if you're one of those people, and there will be some people in the room who really just, you don't actually want to do a whole lot of stuff. You just want your business to grow by thinking about it, and, doing something else with your life. So it's not going to happen. So you may as well leave the room as well. But assuming you're not, assuming you're a person who understands that it's going to take a lot of effort, commitment, and consistent doing to achieve anything worthwhile, then hang around. My results are not typical, as I said before. Don't assume you will match them, and it's not going to work on all businesses. Most, though. So, what the basis of what I teach is a good basis for marketing in all businesses. But I did in a lot of the stuff that I sent you guys. I spoke about consultants and service providers and things like that. And, this is perfect for those kind of businesses. But I challenge any business. I'm working with a construction firm using this technique, inclusive as well. And we're going to be working with, guest house, I know, and hotels and stuff. So we're going to, it's moldable per se. But please understand, it's not just a plug and play that you can just use for anything. As an example, if you sell to corporate clients and you have 5 clients that you work for in a year, then a lot of what I share with you, although it can potentially work, it's probably not likely to be a great, process. It's probably better to go and learn how to do direct selling and how to perfect that and, create sort of leverage that way. So anyway, so let's move on. Stay till the end. So I'm going to reward you for staying till the end because I believe, it's a long commitment and I want to make it worth your while. So if you stay till the end, you will receive a free audio CD. This will be emailed to you. So many people ask at the end, like, how do we get the audio CD? It'll be emailed to you about an hour, half an hour to an hour after we finish, okay? So check in the morning or check later. You'll receive an email with the download for an audio CD called The Power of Amplification. This features me and the late, great Bill Gibson from Canada, who's one of the leading global experts in marketing and sales. And Bill is a dear friend of mine. He passed away earlier this year. For those that know him and didn't know that, it's an unfortunate reality. But he was 71 and a major loss to those that knew him, but to the community as a whole, because he's taught and coached, literally tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of businesses. But anyway, this was myself and Bill many years ago, and the power of amplification is more relevant today than it was then. So it's a really worthwhile audio CD to get your hands on and to listen to some incredible knowledge from a man that's no longer with us. And this is an exclusive CD. You can only get it through us. So it's not something you can buy somewhere else. So stay till the end. You get a reward for that for free, no extra charge. Why should you listen? No extra charge because you didn't pay to come in anyway. Why should you listen to me? So this is me standing in front of an audience of about 4,000 people at one of our events a couple of years ago. And I guess, first reason you might want to listen to me is, well, 4,000 people paid to come and listen to me at that event, but I've got some accolades, let me just quickly run through them. So I started 9 businesses. Latest one was a massive success. I've consulted over 100 companies. I helped over 2,000 entrepreneurs from 11 different countries grow themselves and their businesses. I've spoken live to over 100,000 entrepreneurs in seminars and workshops around the world. I've influenced over 5 million people through my website, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Many of you know me because many of you are from my community. But I don't want to, I just want to qualify myself a little bit for those that don't know me. What you should really want to know about me is that, a number of years ago, when I got to, just before I got to 42, I was like, enough is enough. I was broke. I was miserable. And I just thought to myself, I'm in the actual field of self-development and success. I'm teaching businesses and I'm working with some of the greatest minds in the world. And yet I've got nothing to show for it. And I had this huge personal intervention with myself about the fact that I'm so tired and how many more decades must I live on this earth before I can actually succeed. Anyway, off the back of that, I realized that even though I knew a lot of stuff intellectually, I didn't really know it because my life clearly didn't illustrate it. So I knew how to be wealthy. I knew how to make money. I knew how to market and sell. I knew how to do lots of things. But my life didn't illustrate that I knew it to the extent that I was not implementing it. So I made this commitment to become a humble student, which is the turning point in my life, beginning of 2012. By the beginning of 2014, which was 2 years later, I was a multimillionaire. My business had grown, at that stage by more than 10 times. I'd gone from 0 staff to, I think we had over 10 staff working full time at the time. There was exponential growth. It didn't happen straight off the back of 2012. It was a journey, but it was a journey that I promise you, every investment, I invested a lot of money into my education, and that investment was paid itself back, hundreds and hundreds of times. So it was, I believe, honestly, one of the best investments you can make in yourself is to invest in your education. And I'm talking about formal education. I'm talking about the hard knocks education of life and business. All right. So what I did is I got into this process of learning, doing, because I knew a lot of stuff intellectually, but I wasn't doing it. I didn't really buy into it. I was lazy. So I learned, do. And this started to really produce some results. Not, like I said, exponentially straight away, but incrementally I started to see some significant changes and differences. And this all was based on a piece of advice I got from a very wealthy friend of mine who said, you never stop learning until your life proves that you've got it. And I think that's a very, very powerful piece of advice. So as much as I'm sharing that with you, because that's been my journey in life that shifted it, you guys are committed to learning. That's why you're in this webinar as well. So it's part of your journey. But don't just learn something and then say, well, that's it, and hopefully everything will change. You need to become obsessed with learning in every way possible how to maximize the results you get in your life. And whatever aspect or area you're trying to focus on, could be trying to attract an incredible person into your life, could be your health, it could be your financial or generation of wealth. It could be anything that is of importance to you. You have to become a serious, humble student, work with the best in the world, and don't stop until you start to see the result. Excuse me. You will never stop. Let me just drink some water. Why would you stop if you were getting incredible results in that area of your life? So you'll never actually stop. But the point is just that, you definitely don't stop while your life hasn't actually shown that you got what you're learning as you go along. All right. This has completely transformed my life and business. And what I'm sharing with you today is based on that journey, specific around growing business, sales, and marketing as a whole. Another critical factor before we get going, and I'm going to harp on this a little bit, not because I like to harp on things. Normally, I don't say much about it. I've already mentioned I'm going to, share something with you at the end, but this is more around teaching you, actually. So starting the teaching process. I'm not an altruist, and neither are you. Even people that say, I just want to help people. Believe you me, if we dig into it, you're not. Okay, you can only really become an altruist when your life is perfect. In inverted commas. In other words, when you financially you find you can only start to make a difference in people's lives unless you become a missionary, or unless you become, you dedicate yourself to some organization and you work there. But the truth is, you can never be altruistic all the time. Altruistic meaning you only think about other people. Everything you do is for other people. I'm not an altruist. I don't teach for free. I have no intention of doing a 2-hour webinar to 600 people from all over Africa just for free. And, I don't get paid by the government or some organization to teach you for free. So please understand, I have an agenda. My objective is to share something of great value with you, but also to acquire a select few of you to be on a special program that I've created. So towards the end, I'm going to share them. I'm going to share it in detail because I want to make sure it's only the select few, the right few that join that. So you might want to hang out for that and find out if you are one of those people, because you're probably going to see the value in doing that at a later stage. I just want to make this very teaching point, all right? If you do not like it when people sell to you, all right? You don't like it when people want to tell you about their products or services, you can leave. You can leave now if you want to. I wouldn't stop you. Or you can wait until I finish the teaching and you can leave. But I want you to understand this. The more someone selling something to you bothers you, the more ineffective you are in actually selling to others. So I want you to actually pay attention to this. If I'm selling later on, and even some of the examples I give you are like sales processes. If people come in halfway through, they think I'm selling right from the beginning, but that's actually part of the education. But when I sell to you later on and I tell you about this incredible product that I think you should consider being part of, if you feel uncomfortable in that, I need you to reflect on that, okay? Because I promise you, with our students that we work with, this is a major factor that you have to overcome. You can never effectively sell to somebody else, especially if you've got to sell hard, if you feel uncomfortable when somebody sells to you. So lesson number 1, it's a bonus lesson, but just to put that to bed right at the beginning. All right, another critical factor, if you truly believe, so this is actually following on from that, if you truly believe in the product or service you offer and know for the right people, it can make a huge difference in their lives, you owe it to those people to do everything you can to get them to buy it. This is bonus learning for you, okay? Because when I talk about selling, remember these facts. If you truly believe what you have is of great value, then you owe it to those people. And I'll tell you why you owe it to them, because in the craziness of life, we are not very decisive. And sometimes you go, ooh, this will be something good. I think I should get it. But the truth is, a large majority of people actually delay that process. And then most of the people that delay that process actually never get it. They never come back and actually get it in the first place. So, it's critical. If you know you've got something of real value that can affect and influence somebody's life in a major way, you owe it to them to do everything you can in order to sell. So this is the context that I'm going to be teaching you in as we go through. But let's get down to the real core of the content. So how do we make more money? Well, let's start right sort of from the outside, set a bit of context, all right? Of course, most people go, well, I need more clients. So most people actually think the way to grow my business, I want to double my business, I probably want to double how many clients I've got, So, and of course, clients plays a role to your ability to make more money through your business as a whole. But there's other things as well. Like, for instance, how many times those clients actually buy from you. So you might have clients that only buy from you once, but with some clever thinking and some clever planning, you could find a way to actually sell to them again, and you could get them to buy twice a year, and you could generate a lot more revenue out of the same people. Let me tell you a simple little fact in marketing. It costs 5 times more to get a new client than it does to sell to an existing client. So please understand. And that 5 times in my space, it's 10, 15, 20 times more, okay? It often costs nothing to sell to my existing clients other than my time and energy. But how many times people buy from you is relevant, and of course, what they spend each time that they buy from you. These 3 factors determine how how much income or turnover you have in your business. And I just want to illustrate, this was taught to me by Tony Robbins, actually, but it's actually from Jay Abraham, who's one of the leading marketing specialists in the world. He's a mega marketer, Jay, particularly for small and medium business as well. And this was so interesting when I heard it, 2013 in London with Tony Robbins at Business Mastery. And I was like, I didn't kind of get it at the beginning. So hopefully you will get it relatively quickly. But anyway, yeah, it is, right? Let's say, going to use simple equation. You've got 1,000 clients. This is in a 12-month period. And each of those clients, every time they buy from you, on average, they spend 1,000 Rand. And they purchase on average twice every year, okay? So you've got 1,000 clients that purchase an average twice a year, and they spend 1,000 Rand average each time they purchase. That's 2 million Rand turnover. Okay, this is an equation that many people don't know, but they should, because it's powerful. Because when you know this, you can play with it to see how you can manipulate it to produce greater results. For instance, if you could increase it all by 10%. So if you just got 10% more clients in a year, okay, most of you, that's probably not that hard to do. Also, you increase what they spend per transaction by 10%. Now, most of you should be doing that anyway, just to accommodate inflation. All right. It's amazing how people reduce their prices, especially when in difficult times economically in the world, they reduce their prices. They add more value, reduce the prices. A recipe for disaster. All right. So you should all be trying to get, certain raises in your fees, because you've got to accommodate inflation, and 10% is a safe way of accommodating inflation because it goes up and down. And you got to increase how many times they bought from you to 2.2 times. It doesn't mean somebody buys 0.2. It just means on average over 1,100 people, they purchase 2.2 times. That equation would lead to 2,662,000 in revenue. So we only increased the number of clients by 10%, but we increased the amount of revenue by 33%. You see how this becomes an interesting equation. I promise you, this helped me dramatically grow my business when I realized that the power I had was in the community and clients that I had, and the power I had was in my ability to learn how to value myself more and value my products more and add value. I focused on how to add value all the time, but then increase the price. Because, otherwise I'm going to go bankrupt. Now you do it on 20% on the same base of the original one at the top, and all of a sudden you've got 3.5 million turnover, 73%. You only got 20% more clients. Jay calls this the aggressive model, and for some of you, this aggressive model will work. Many of you probably. It's an increase of client base by 33%. So that's only 330 extra clients out of 1,000 in this example in a year. Okay, so 33% is probably doable for a lot of you. Increase what they spend by 25%. There's many ways you can do this. So we're not going to go over the top and say double what they spend, but we can increase it by 25% without too much complication. Increase how often they buy. Even if you have clients that you thought only buy from you once, let's see if we can get them to buy something else again. So in this case, we're increasing the 2 to 50%. You might increase the 1 to 1.5 times. It doesn't matter, but we're going to take it up by 50%. And all of a sudden, just shy of 5 million. That's 150% increase in revenue. We've gone from 2 million revenue to just shy of 5 million in revenue by increasing the number of clients by 33%, increasing what they spend on average by 25%, and increasing how often they purchase from us by just 50%. I'm setting some context here because when I talk about the models, particularly the blueprint, you got to understand this is why it's so powerful, because the blueprint helps you do this in ways that you didn't even think it was possible. So remember, there's 3 ways to increase turnover. And I gave you notes for this. I hope you guys downloaded the notes, because people are going to go, can I get the slides? You should have filled out the numbers while I was doing this on your notes. But hopefully, of course, the diligent students amongst you would have been doing that, and then you're going to get greater value out of it as well. This is what most of you do, all right? So let's paint a picture of what most of you do. And then, I want you to understand when I paint this picture, it's not going to look like a bad picture because most of you do it. If you knew it was bad, you wouldn't be doing it. So let's paint the picture. Firstly, how do we find people to sell to? All right. So how do we grow the base and where we can generate leads from as a whole? Now, there's 6 primary ways you can find people to sell to. And they're not necessarily all relevant to you, but for most of you, you can use all 6 of these, and many of you have used many of these before. So obviously people we know. When we start a business, that's the first thing. We know these people. They told us they want to service. They'll take it. Uncles, aunts, grannies, and, people, friends of theirs and stuff like that. But that's very limited, obviously. So it's a great way to start, but it's got limitation. Then you've got word of mouth. So we have this fantasy that if we just do it well, everyone will come. So word of mouth is actually just it's important to understand that we want to manage word of mouth because it's something that happens regardless, good or bad. So we definitely don't want people bad-mouthing us out there. But I can tell you, the more successful we become, the more you do get people bad-mouthing you. And that's just a natural equation, all right? When suddenly 1 million people know you or 10,000 people know you, believe me, it happens. But at the end of the day, you want to control that. And you control it by effectively delivering and being true to what you promise and over-delivering a lot of the time. But let me tell you this. It is not the purpose of your client or your friends to go and sell your business for you. Okay, even if you pay them a commission, all right, it's not going to just happen. You got to understand, you can't just build it and they all come in millions. You've got to build and you've got to go out there and find people to make them interested about what you're selling. So word of mouth is great, but you've got no control over it. It's just sitting back hoping that people are talking about your business and sending other people there. Community selling, this is where you either build your own community. I'm privileged to have a community of hundreds of thousands of people, or you sell through other people's communities, and you come with a great offer and you say to me, hey Brian, I've got this great offer, it's going to be good for your community, I'll pay you a nice commission, please will you let them know about it. Please don't do that, because I get so much of that, I obviously have to turn almost all of it away, and I'm very selective. It's only people that have really proven themselves and achieved significant things that I might consider doing that with. But I have used that model very, very effectively to grow my business. And then referrals. And referrals is a sales process in a way, because we literally ask people for referrals. So we've done events, for instance, with 200 people in an event, and we've got 400, 500 referrals out of those 200 people. Asking your existing clients for referrals, nothing wrong with that, but they're not going to do it by themselves. So you've got to give them the environment to do that effectively. But then, of course, you've got to follow them up, which is also a bit like cold calling. We call it warm calling if they were referrals, a little bit lukewarm calling. But, not everyone likes to call people and offer them stuff. I mean, I get calls all the time. I don't answer my phone. It took a while, but everyone just accepts that now, because I can't stand when somebody is trying to, interrupt my day to tell me about some insurance product that I have no interest in. It's not a great environment, but we do need to master it, and some businesses more than others. And then, of course, advertising. And many of us have tried advertising, and many of us have lost money, or at least a little bit, some of us a lot more in advertising. And so it's a challenging area. I hear far more stories about failure in advertising than I do about success. Far more, probably 5 to 1. So you may have tried some or all of these, but you clearly, if you want to grow your business, and you've got to figure out how to master that acquisition. How do we acquire people that we can sell to? So for most of you, you're struggling to get enough of these people, but you're also struggling with the quality. Sometimes you get a lot of people, but you don't get very good quality that you get to sell to or connect with as a whole. Then what do we do when we actually do connect with them, when we're lucky enough to have people that come in front of us to sell? Well, how do we sell? Well, here's what we do. We do a direct offer. Okay, and I say we because I was like this for a long time as well. I like to think I'm not anymore. I think I still sometimes make the mistake of just doing a primary direct offer. But this is maybe with a bit of dressing up. This is so, where once you've got the opportunity, you talk to them about the problem you want to solve. So some people don't even do that, but it's a good place to start, because if you can connect with their pain, they're going to pay a lot more attention. So what are the pains, what are the challenges in their life that you actually have the capacity to solve, and who you are and why they should consider buying from you or buy from you, and what specific solution you have for them and what investment cost is it going to be to them. That's kind of what we do in a direct offer. And a lot of you going saying, yeah, so I mean, that's what you got to do, right, in order to make a sale. Well, here's the problem. Let me give you a couple of examples. You're not going to see the problem in examples, but I just want to be clear that you know what I mean by direct offer. So these are actually pretty good sales offers. So I'm not, I have watered them down as I don't want to spend too much time on them. They are real examples of stuff that we sell, but they're relatively good sales examples, but they really are just direct offers. So, and some of you will go, oh, I'm interested, can I actually get that? Even though my intention is not to have you buy it. But if you do want it, let our staff know or something. But anyway, do you want more money? So this is normally on the back of a financial presentation, something about how to succeed more financially in your business as a whole. And then we start to say, do you want more money? Obvious question. Most people want more money. What if I told you that the better you manage your money, the more money you get to manage? Interesting. I've proven this. The top people with money in the world will tell you this. The better you manage your money, the more money you'll get to manage. Money is like an energy, and it flows, and it will not flow to you if there's chaos around money. So this is an interesting context. So it's really about time that you became the financial manager of your business. And I mean you, the business owner, whether you're a one-man business or whether you've got 50 people. The pointer off the screen. Sorry. There you go. Somebody's complaining about the pointer on the screen. It's time for you to become the financial manager of your business. And what I mean by that, well, firstly, let me just say that if you do not become the financial manager, until you can learn to effectively manage the finances of your business, and particular in a strategic point of view, you will never achieve financial success. Okay, most businesses, 99% close, in small and medium businesses, do not achieve financial success. In other words, get maximum return out of their business in terms of profits. All right, most of them just are survival businesses. Most people start a business, they just create a job for themselves, and a lot of you will have probably fallen into that trap. All right, so you need to take this seriously. This is also the one area that is people are most ignorant in as business owners throughout the world than any other area at all. So, people really get stuck because they're scared of accounts and how to read them and what they should do with them and the taxes and all that kind of stuff. So I'm here to tell you that's great. If you want to carry on like that, never expect to get financial success out of your business. But if you want to get financial success, it's time for you to become the financial manager of your own business. And so what does it mean to be a financial manager? Well, we're not trying to make you an accountant. Let's be clear about that, okay? I have no intention of trying to make you an accountant. I mean, for some of you, accounting is kind of boring, all right? So it is not my intention for you to become an accountant in any way. What I do want is that you create financial forecasts, targeted income, cost of sale, and expenses, and most importantly, profit. And so I want you to create these financial forecasts, these actual plans from a financial perspective. We also then want you to set up your accounts in such a way that it reports showing trends and actual versus budget, in other words, actual versus forecast, so you can see how well you're doing on a month-by-month basis in detail through the reports that you get from your accountant. And we want you to be able to analyze this and use it strategically to create and adjust your plan of action towards achieving these financial outcomes. All right. So this is what I mean by being a financial manager, is that you take in control of the financial performance of your business by, determining what you want it to be from a month-by-month basis, line item by line item basis, monitoring that through an effective use of systems that actually you already have, most of you, and it actually can do it for you. You just don't know how to make it do it. And then using that as a strategic tool to make more effective decisions in your business as a whole. With this in mind, we created something called the Business Financial Mastery Program, specific for small and medium business owners that are pretty clueless around how to financially manage their business. It's about a 30-hour total instruction and work program, all done online so people can use it from anywhere. Once again, for people that are wandering into the room, I'm not actually selling this to you, although it is available. I'm using this as an example of a direct sale. So the Business Financial Mastery Program, you're going to learn a whole lot of stuff. And I'm not going to bore this with you because a lot of you get scared when you see some of these terms, all right? But there's a whole lot of stuff. And the particular things that are important to me, being an entrepreneur myself, is that you learn how to master your expenses and how to, analyze your cash flow and how to forecast your income and how to manage your budget and manage your systems around that, okay? That's the most important stuff. But you do need to learn, what balance sheets are and what income statements are. These are all report formats that you need to learn to understand and utilize in order to maximize the performance of your business financially. So this program is 6 2-hour online training modules, and it's pretty comprehensive that you go through. You can go through at your own pace, so you get all 6 up front. We normally say do one a week, but some people want to do it faster, so that's up to you. We then have live Q&A webinars. I present this together with my associate, Robert Jewell. He's actually in the room, who happens to be, he's not my associate, he's my accountant, he's my auditor, and he's my business financial financial advisor, and my friend for many, many years. And I needed him because I'm not as fait with all the accounting rules and laws and how to use it that effectively. So, I do the kind of entrepreneurial integration and, and he does all the technical stuff. And you get up to 3 facilitated workshops. This is because the critical component of developing forecasts is actually the most critical component to you succeeding in your business in terms of financial management. So we're going to help you do that. And then we're going to give you manuals and templates and tools, lots of templates and everything that you need to use to make it as user-friendly as possible for you to go forward. What's the investment to do this? Before I get to that, Rika Hudson did this a while back. She said that she learned more in this course than she did in her 2 degrees, the BCom and an MBA degree. And Jeremy Burtons, I'll never forget Jeremy because he was, I think, in our second run of this course. He said we managed to reduce our expenses and save almost 25,000 Rand a month after the first 2 modules of the course, which is pretty cool in terms of value. The cost is 14,950 Rand. And it is an investment because you will get your money back many times as long as you use it and you do it. And there's options to pay for it. So we have 4 monthly payment options of 3,995 Rand, blah, blah, blah. I would normally now spend a lot more time going into the sale, but this is what we call a direct sale, okay? So this is the problem. This is the solution we've created. This is how it can help you. This is what it consists of. This is how much it costs. Another direct sale is, who wants to master making money through internet marketing? So this one's a bit shorter, but Make Millions Online is a course I created because literally hundreds and hundreds of people over the years have been asking me, please, can you teach us what you did in order to make so much money online, in order to master, the online environment? And I kind of steered clear from it. It's not my core, element. My core element is around teaching entrepreneurship. But I eventually succumbed to the many people asking me to do this at the beginning of 2017. And I created this course called Make Millions Online. And based on the fact that I'd made over 50 million through internet marketing, I thought this would be of value and I could possibly help people with this. It's designed to focus on two types of people: either people that want to start an internet business to generate revenue through their own online products or others, or it's for people that have an existing business and they want to learn how to use the internet to generate more sales and greater revenues. All right. You will learn a whole lot of stuff: how to become a recognized expert, how to build an online community, how to build your right websites, how to build landing pages, create content, marketing through Facebook, etc., and a whole lot more. So what does it consist of? It's also 6 modules of 2 hours each and dedicated Q&A sessions, live Q&A sessions with myself. The investment is also 14,950 Rand with options to pay over 4 months. All right. So I did that one a little bit faster because I don't want to harp on this. Those are 2 what we call, and they're not bad sales. This one I would obviously spend more time on and give more testimonials and stuff. But there are 2 what we call direct sales in the process. So if I was sitting on a webinar and I wanted to sell those things, here I am direct selling, or direct offers as we call them, right? So here's the problem, all right? Here's the problem. This is what most of you do. You have these direct offers. Maybe you've got great presentations. Maybe you've got great proposals. You think your website and you are telling a really good story that people should want to buy your product. You have an incredible product or service. So why are there not people queuing up outside to buy it? Because this model is fundamentally flawed. And it leads to only getting sometimes as little as 10% of the potential sales. All right. And you put all this work into acquiring people and you lose in 90% of them. And that pretty much is keeping you stuck and keeping your business from growing. And in some cases, bankrupting people. All right. And yet you're doing what sounds like the right thing to do and what most other people are doing. Hence, most people struggling. It is fundamentally flawed. And we need to understand this. There is a lot more we need to grasp about how to effectively sell to people and how to effectively attract people. And this is really what my blueprint is focusing on. Okay, so I want to first set some context before I get to the blueprint. The first is army selling, and army is not, I know army is not spelled like that as in army, the army, but I'm dyslexic, so I couldn't spell it correctly. By the way, I'm joking. It's an acronym, so, and I needed an I. So it's army as in ARMI. And by telling that little joke, it'll probably make you remember it more. So what does army stand for? It stands for authority. We have to, in order to sell effectively, establish ourselves as an authority, even in the moment, by letting people know what you've achieved. So when I started the webinar and I told you some of my achievements, and I pushed through them because I don't want to sit and talk about myself, but at least it qualifies me. I told you about the kind of results I've achieved in my business, so it creates a qualification. And then as I teach you, I'm creating a level of authority by teaching you. So, in this instant, I'm creating a level of authority. Of course, there's techniques we use on a longer term scale that positions you as an authority in your market. And the more you have that position of being an authority and expert in your field, the more likely people are to buy from you. You also got to repeat, like this nonsense of selling and then they didn't buy it, so it's over, is one of the greatest mistakes we make. And there's just so much research that's showing, whether it's direct sales, cold calling, all the way through to, marketing through webinars, through video presentations, through brochures, through landing pages, through whatever, selling one-on-one, selling one to groups, that we lose so many of the sales because we don't create an environment. And interesting enough, through a sales environment, you create repetitiveness because people sometimes need to hear it a number of times before they buy it. In fact, a study showed in marketing, this is many years ago, a study showed that the average consumer needed 7 forms of communication, or touch-in as they call them in marketing, before they would buy a product. That's across all products across the world. The average consumer would need 7. I believe it's probably like 11 now, okay? Because people just don't buy because the first time you told them about it, they really like it. So we need to learn how to master repetitiveness in various different dynamics in order to effectively sell and market. And we need to learn to manipulate. Okay, so I know people don't like this word. When I work with my students, I get you comfortable with this word. I manipulate you into becoming comfortable with this word. It's not actually only a negative word. If you think about manipulating a piece of clay or manipulating a piece of wire to make something. So, we are controlling the environment and controlling how it fits together and how it works. So we got to get clear about doing this. We also need to influence. So I put the word in influence. Normally I just say arm and manipulation, but people get a bit freaked out. So I kind of don't say manipulate people, although that's what I do. Okay, but I don't do it scrupulously or with bad morals. I just do it in such a way that gets them to take action quicker. But let's just say influence. I want to manipulate the environment and influence people effectively. Guys, I'm not trying to tell you that you're going to learn how to BS people or trick them or brainwash them into buying your products. That is never going to work in the long run. It's going to fall apart. There are techniques you can learn to manipulate people from a scrupulous point of view. All right. I want to be very clear that your role in order to maximize your business is to maximize the value that you offer. So the first thing, if I work with students, the first thing we look at is, what are you offering? What's the value? How do we maximize that value? How do we add to it to improve the value of what people are going to get out of that offer? I don't care if it's a hotel room. I don't care if it's an accounting service. I don't care if you're a teacher or a coach. I don't care if you're selling some tangible product out of a store. I want to know how we can maximize the exchange. And like I said, earlier, if you caught me, we also look at how we can increase the value of that exchange. We increase what we charge for it. Then we look at how we maximize our ability to sell that value. Okay. And so this is where people fall short. So please, when I talk about something like these techniques, I'm not telling you to become some unscrupulous idiot who is trying to manipulate people into getting what they don't want. All right. Because that's not a recipe for success in business in any way. But you do need to learn effectively how to sell. And I mean, I'll give you just a real example of this. For a long time, I used to sell from stages. I still occasionally do. And I would, we would do a whole tour. And we got like 600, 700 people, sometimes as much as 1,000 people in a single event. And the event was pretty cool. And I, got up there and I did my direct offer, and I did it with lots of enthusiasm, and I repeated it, and I did all types of stuff. But when we actually saw the number of people that bought, even though the volume was quite high proportionally to the event and the cost, cost a fortune to put on an event with 1,000 people, it turns out that my team just said that somebody said, "I am so grateful that you manipulated me. It's changed my life." Thanks, Clive. Hopefully we're setting that meeting up, buddy. We're struggling with our communication in Skype. But anyway, the truth is that I wasn't getting a great result. And actually, when we sat on the team, even though it had a lot of turnover because of the size and the number of people, when we actually looked at the result, it wasn't actually worth it. We were actually losing money. And then I met one of my good friends from the UK. I won't mention his name, but he's a very, very proficient salesperson online, on stages all around the world. And he sat down and actually taught me a few things. In fact, what I did, he taught me a whole lot of stuff, but then I sat with him and I watched him do what he did at his sale. And I thought, it's like weird, like he does all these crazy things, like invite people up on stage and, do this and that. And some of it, I'm not even sure, But I thought, what, I had one event left in the series that we've been doing. It was actually the second series. And, consistently we didn't get great, we got results, but this weren't enough to justify it. And I took his exact model. Okay, he became my friend, and I learned a lot more from him as well. But I took exactly what he did on stage, converted it to mine. I spent like the whole night. I didn't sleep practicing it and rehearsing it, because you need to do that often to make sure it's smooth. And I got on stage that last event in that series, and we more than doubled the sales at the back of the room. All right. And it was the same product. It was just sold in a slightly different way. So I want you to understand the power of learning to do this. And I want you to get over your little voices in your head that say, I can't do that because, it's not honest, or it's not right, or it's not anything. Remember what I said earlier. If you truly believe in the value and service that you give to people, I'm not asking you to be dishonest, by the way, but I am asking you to use manipulation or influence to influence people to take action to buy your product. All right. Anyway, I can talk. This is like a whole, a 6-hour training by itself, if not longer. It's a whole day training by itself. So I just checking the time. I need to move on. So the real marketing is another element. So that's the selling part of it. Then how do we attract people? We need to master real marketing. And real is our brand, as you can see at the bottom, the Real Entrepreneur. So real marketing is trademarked. Don't steal it. I'm just kidding. It is actually, but it's not, I'm just joking about telling you about it. So I'm going to do a acronym, but don't worry, I'm not going to use the whole word marketing because it'll take too long. So I'm going to put up real, MKT, which is abbreviation for marketing, right? And this is an area, and by the way, we use acronyms just to make it easier for people to remember. But you should have downloaded the notes or printed them, or you have access to them, and this is in there, right? But you do want to fill it out. Otherwise, you're not going to know what it is. So real marketing stands for the following. Number one, results. First and most important thing is we get results. We need to get them. We need to see them. We need to measure them. We need to know exactly what's going on with them. And ultimately, we do not need to go bankrupt. So we need results, all right? And that's always the most important thing. What is the result we're looking for? Okay, because there's many ways to get a result. And sometimes we just try one, we don't get a result, we give up. but the truth is we often have to try many times over and perfect it over time in order to get the result that we really want. Second thing is you need education. So for you to go and figure this out, I'm showing you blueprints, like a bird's eye view of what you should do. There's going to be many things you're going to think, like, I need to learn how to do this. And, if you go and try and just take what I've said and just do that, you're still going to fail, all right? You need to commit yourself to education. From me, from many other people, there's so many people in this field. And, obviously look for the people that have the real caliber, the real results to prove it. Have been around for a while, so they're not fly-by-nights and bullshitters, excuse the French, but we do get those. And focus on learning. All right. Remember, my concept of education is to learn, do, learn, do, learn, do. Okay, learn and apply. And sorry, the A is application. All right, so we're going to learn, but we're also going to apply. Very, very important. And then the L stands for laying the groundwork. And so the basis of effectively marketing requires a whole lot of preparation. And so many people want to skip the preparation because they want a quick result, and they do a whole lot of stuff and they don't get a result. In fact, they end up worse off than when they started because they didn't lay the groundwork. So it's very important that we lay the effective groundwork in order to maximize the result at the beginning and then also keep tweaking it. So measurement's critical. We've got to measure every aspect that we can, everything along the channel, along the funnel, so that we can tweak it, make it better in order to ultimately produce the results. I showed you those examples with increasing clients by 10% and increasing, purchase rate by 10% and that kind of repurchase rate. And I showed you how those little incremental changes had a quantum effect in the actual overall result. So it's very true. Yeah, you could improve things by 1 or 2%, but collectively, if you improve 20 things by 1 or 2%, the outcome is significant in terms of the outcome. So you can't improve things if you can't measure things. Basically what happens, if you don't measure things, you make assumptions, and assumptions are the mother of all you-know-whats. All right, so you want clarity through measurement, and then you want to keep adjusting based on those measurements, based on the results that you're getting, and most importantly, you have to put in time. You can't just do something next week and hope for a big result. You've got to put it into the sequences and the campaigns, as we call it, over time. You've got to put energy and time into them. And, this is the combination of these things that can lead you to becoming, literally having too many clients, far too many. And you sort of have a selection process or disqualification process in order to make sure you have the right people coming into your space or business. All right, so that's the groundwork or the context, I should say. And I want to now focus on the blueprint. All right, so what is the blueprint? So like I said, most people acquire and then sell. Acquire and sell, acquire and sell, acquire and sell. And of course, we don't even sell it well. How do we acquire? We use the 6 sort of primary ways to acquire people. People we know, word of mouth, community selling, referrals, cold calling, and advertising. And how do we sell? Well, we normally use the direct offer method, like the examples I gave you, which, can be good, and lots of testimonials and show you how incredible it is. But remember what I said. This is notoriously fundamentally flawed. And some of you know this because you've been doing this and it's just not getting the results you want. You don't get the conversion rates you want. You don't get enough people. You don't get the outcomes that you really want in order to grow your business or to make a lot more money. So, we need to change this. And how do we change this? Let's look at the blueprint. So we don't go straight from acquiring to selling. We create something called, I just call it connections, my highest value. Some people call it a funnel, but a funnel kind of implies we're narrowing down. And in the connection space, I don't want you to narrow down. I actually want you to bring lots of people in and then stay in touch with them. And this is where we create sequences of communication to connect and reconnect, predominantly with goodwill. So, the more we connect with people, you guys would have seen before you came to this webinar, you might not have watched it. I know a number of you did, but I gave you a free video like soon after you registered. Sorry, if you registered today, you probably didn't get the video because it came out yesterday. But the point is, a lot of you got a whole lot of stuff. I gave you free notes. These are all simple techniques to create more goodwill with you. I see one of my team has left the room. I'm sure she'll come back in. She must have a connection problem. These are all simple techniques we use to create greater goodwill with people as a whole. So we need to, actually do this where we acquire people, put them through a connection process, and then sell to them. And of course, we don't just sell with a direct offer. We learn, and it's different for different people, for different circumstances. We learn how to effectively sell. So we direct offer is one of the processes, but we also learn about stacked selling and stacking the sell. Believe it or not, those two things actually mean something different, but they're the same word. Stacked selling is where we take our product and we break it into pieces and we value each piece. And we also then look at it and say, what's missing? What can we add that'll add value to the outcome that we want for these people? And we literally stack our product up so it becomes exceptionally valuable, a lot more valuable than just when we talk about this product for this amount of money. And stacking and selling and marketing is where you create multiple opportunities, either in the same time to resell and resell and resell, or over time as well. And bribe selling, this is where it's literally what it says. It says, hey, I'll give you this, I'll give you this for free if you buy this or if you join this. Okay, and you'd be surprised how effective it actually is. And then urgency and scarcity are common things that we use sometimes in ways of ensuring that people take action. These are just some of the little ideas. There's many, many other things we've got to learn to master in order to master selling. Like I said, it's kind of unique to your industry and to how you're selling, et cetera, et cetera. And then connection, of course, is all about educating. It's all about adding value, reminding people about you, keeping front of mind, nurturing, repeat selling. I just want to say, Sally, you left the room for a while. So there's still, I don't know if there's any comments coming through because Sally's saying she lost me. I don't know if she can hear me. Spell check would improve your credibility. Yeah, Sue, there's always people that say that. I'm looking at comments again. Let me go off that for now. I'll come back to any questions later on. But basically, it's about educating, adding value, reminding, keep in front of mind, nurturing, and repeat selling on a continuous basis. That's what connection is all about. Okay, so this process is what we actually have to master, all right? And the nice thing about connection in the modern world is that there are so many tools we can utilize, okay? So it's commonly referred to in terms of systems as marketing automation, okay? So when you guys signed up for the webinar, all types of stuff happened. And none of it I did manually. It was all done automatically. It sent you stuff, it sent you reminders, it sent you links, it did all types of things. And, that's the basis of using automation, okay? So one of the things you really want to master is how to do that. So let's just get to the grit here. You bring people in through acquisition. Doesn't mean that you're not going to sell to them for a long period of time. You could sell to them straight away, but you want to get them into a connection. Like this webinar is a great way because you give me your phone number and your email address. I won't phone you randomly, by the way. We don't do that. But you give me your email address, and somebody's going to say, "Why do we take your phone number?" For the SMS reminders, if you didn't notice. But you give me your email address and name so that I can put you in my connection funnels and stay in touch with you. And that's kind of important because what happens is I might sell to you directly and maybe some of you will buy, but the truth is many of you won't. So you go back into the connection process. My slides are stuck. There we go. Go back into the connection, and then you get a whole lot of education and value add and goodwill, and then we bring you back and sell to you again. And sometimes we sell you a different product. And then if you don't buy, or even if you do buy, we put you back in the connection, with a different journey of nurturing, and you get more and more opportunities to sell. So this is very, very important. We've seen studies. One of my primary mentors is a good friend of mine, Frank Kern, who's classified as the #1 internet marketer in the world. Frank, he hates that title, but he's literally, that's what people call him. Frank, when I first met him, he used to coach me. I don't want to tell you how much money I spent on that because he is, a celebrity in our industry. And he used to coach me directly. And I remember our first session, he was talking about this whole concept of creating funnels and where you resell to people. And he said, Brian, it's the weirdest thing. Like they have taken it 14 levels down. This is where they bring somebody in, and this is all automated in his space. In your case, it's not always automated. There has to be different interventions, but as much as we can, we automate. But he says you'll bring people in, and he said, like for one client, we ran 14 different levels of selling. So there was an immediate go to a webinar, didn't buy, give them value. He has some free videos. He has this. He has a free report. He has another offer if you still want to buy it. And then it was back to another webinar, and whatever. It's like just different over time, giving people different opportunities, but keep creating goodwill in the process. He said the weirdest thing we've taken it 14 levels deep, which was almost a year of continuous communication. And people were still buying at level 14. In fact, sometimes level 14 was outperforming some of the top levels. All right. He was saying that level 10, 11, and 12 was selling more per level than the first sale that you try to make to people. It's insane. He says, I don't know how far I can take it. I must actually ask him, because this was a couple of years ago, because I'm sure he's taken it further to see if it kind of fades off at some stage. But you want to create an environment where you can keep in touch with them. And please don't just sell. They'll just leave you. They'll just opt out and not be there anymore. But if you give them value on a continuous basis and you create goodwill and connection, they will more and more will start to buy from you as you go down the process. So time becomes a critical factor. So this is the blueprint that you have to learn to master. This is the blueprint that I just want to give you an example of a simple connection sequence. This is very simplistic. I was going to show you an actual one, but it's so small. It's like it's got hundreds of little items on it that you wouldn't be able to see it, especially on the broadcast through the webinar. So yeah, we have a simple sequence. Yeah, we're using email, Facebook, advertise, much like we did for this webinar, to get you to register for a webinar. So there's a whole process involved in that as well. We then give you content or email, and we give you value add. So we don't just say, hey, remember about the webinar. We say, hey, here's a free video. and, here's some information. And we give you value add. And then we also give you encourage. Sometimes we combine this. We give you encouraging emails. What I mean by encouraging is that you don't just say, hey, by the way, don't forget your webinar. You say, listen, this is an incredible opportunity for you to learn this, and well done and taking the effort to do this. Is going to have such an impact in your life. You kind of use language that gets people a little bit excited, right? And you also do this with SMSs, and then you get them to attend the webinar. And so there's a big difference between how many people register and how many people attend, all right? And that's going to be dictated by how effectively you connect with them through your sequence. And then when they attend the webinar, and this is not the only way to sell, obviously, this could be lead generation, this could be through a landing page, this could be through appointments, whatever. But when they connect to the webinar, some of them buy, and some of them don't buy. Most of them don't buy, right? So some of them buy. Those that buy, we nurture. Those that don't buy, we give them more content. We put them back in the nurturing campaign and, look after them and give them value and give them more reasons and help them make better decisions, in terms of buying our product. And then we maybe give them a special offer after a couple of weeks or whatever. And then, some buy and some don't buy. And then we nurture those that bought, and those that didn't buy, we, carry on with this process. And this is what I mean by levels of actually selling. Even the people that didn't pitch, of course, you've got them on your database. So you try and get them to the next webinar. You try and give them another journey that you put them on. This is what I mean by creating connections, creating all these various different funnels and these various different sequences, as we call them, of communication inside the way that you interact with somebody that you spent this effort acquiring, but often just sell to, don't get a result, and leave. The more you can master this, the more you can, substantially increase the amount of revenue you get out of that effort of bringing that person into your space. And believe me, this works in most cases. I've taken businesses, and this won't work for me. I sell cars and I only sell them once off. People only buy cars once. No. And, we've created like incredible sequences that, have led to a much higher rate of walk-in clients that want cars, which have actually been referred by other people. But we've created sequences to keep it front of mind. I created sequences where people will come back 3 years later to buy from you, because you can extend these out any way that you want to. It's incredible. You can add value. When you add value to people's lives, they pay attention. It's as simple as that. All right, so here's the model. Here's the blueprint. Obviously, there's a lot you're going to have to learn in terms of implementation. This is what took me from a struggling business to doing over 50 million over the last 3 years. And it will also, it's taken me on my new journey, because, hey, 50 is not early enough, to make 400 million over the next 3 years. It's our target by 2020. And the main thing that I'm focusing on at the moment is advertising, mastering advertising. How do you make advertising pay? Because all those other techniques like cold calling, referrals, community selling, word of mouth, people we know, they're limited, and they generally rely on other people. And what I've found is when it comes to I'm the head of marketing in my company, even though I have a large team, is when it comes to marketing and when it comes to selling, if I rely on other people, it's going to be painful. All right. Effectively advertising, which means I advertise and get effective return on investment to my advertising, which doesn't happen overnight, but something you've got to perfect. You don't have limitation. The more you spend, the more people you get. So if you get a conversion rate of X amount per person in terms of sales, and you want more people, just spend, you want 10 more people, spend 10 times that conversion rate to get 10 more people. You want 100 more people, spend 100 times more the conversion. You can actually tweak it and get the conversion rate lower and get 100 people in. So it's really what you put in, you get out. You put in $1, you get $2 out. You put in $1, you get $3 out. So at the end of the day, that's the philosophy of effective advertising. And in this day and age, we are privileged, as small businesses, to have the capacity to do this on platforms that we can measure, monitor, and see. A lot of you have tried this, be it through Google AdWords or through Facebook marketing or whatever, or even, traditional pamphlets at street corners, whatever the case might be. And you spent money on it and you didn't get a result. But most of you did not actually put a concerted effort in, like you spent 2,000 Rand and you didn't get a result. And that's in itself not going to work. So we just did a trial on stuff months ago, and we spent 250,000 Rand trialing the whole process of mastering a certain element of advertising. And so I'm not saying you have to spend that on a monthly basis, but the truth is, look at my numbers that I want to get. I've got to spend a lot of money. But I'm mastering this ability that I spend, I earn, I spend, I earn, I spend, I earn. And I'm mastering that equation. And that's one of the many, many things you have to master in doing this. Okay, you have to learn how to model your products to stack the value to produce the maximum value, often increase the price because you haven't built in a cost of acquisition, and that's why you're struggling as a business. It's one of the first things we do if we work with you. And then you've got to model, your actual your marketing process, and what are you going to do, and what is there more than one way we're going to attempt and going to market, and then we've got to model, the actual return on investment process, and there's a whole lot of stuff that we've got to plan in order to make this work. I'm not saying that everyone has to use advertising as a primary, but it's what I'm using, and I'm suggesting to a lot of you that if you can get advertising to pay, it is the way to go. All right, that's why many big companies are big companies today. So we need to look at that. To rely on word of mouth or people just queuing up outside and phoning us, just to ask us for services. I mean, that's a wonderful dream, and we do teach the context of how to eventually achieve that, but it's a pipe dream for most people in the current context. So we need to acquire people, and then, of course, we need to maximize the results we get out of those people going forward. So remember, I said if you stay till the end, I'm going to give you The Power of Amplification, which is an audio CD from myself and the late, great Bill Gibson, my dear friend who passed away earlier this year. A stunning audio, 100% free. It's not available anywhere else. So if you're still here, as I see almost all of you, I can't tell, there's so many people come in and out of the room, but there's a ton of you still in the room. We will make sure that gets sent to you half an hour to an hour after the webinar, assuming we don't have any technical problems like we had once before, but you will receive it as long as you're here. All right, so let me start engaging with you and interacting with you. Like, who is really committed to learning what you have to learn, implementing what you need to implement, and adjusting over time to dramatically change how much money your business earns? Tell me in the chat box, okay? Because I've kept my chat, because there's so many people, I kept my chat hidden. I'm now going to bring it back up. And tell me in the chat box, how many of you are seriously committed? Because I said that there's a few of you that I want to work with, but it's really only going to be a few. And one of the criteria is that you are seriously committed. Like, you want to change things now. Okay. And like I said, it's not going to happen overnight, but we're going to take you on a journey that's going to have a dramatic impact on how much money you can actually earn. All right. So there's a delay, but now there's hundreds of people coming through saying, okay, I'm really limiting how many people it takes. So hopefully you're not all going to try and come on board, because you're going to be disappointed. But anyway, let me ask you a couple of questions to put some stuff in context here. If you could have me, okay, how many of you would want me to come and do all of this for you? How many of you want me to come in and actually literally just like remodel your products and services, create your funnels, perfect your sales techniques and systems, create and refine your advertising and other inputs that you use into the funnel, measure and report on everything, and keep optimizing it to maximize the return of spend and overall profitability? I mean, how many of you would love me to come and do that for you? Okay. So here's the thing, right? How much would you pay me? Okay, because I'm kind of like a well-off guy and I don't need to do things for nothing. So I kind of, asked myself this question when I was putting the presentation together. And this is where we would start a negotiation. Okay, this would be the minimum we would start a negotiation at. And I do have people that pay me this kind of silly money to do stuff for them, all right? So you would pay 250,000 Rand up front as a down payment for the first 2 months, because a lot of the work happens at the beginning. And then you would pay 50,000 Rand a month for at least the rest of the year. And that would be a total investment of 750,000. And that's our starting, because some of you would pay $1 million, some of you would pay $1.5 million, depending on how much work there is. So unfortunately, or fortunately, I realized that firstly, I don't actually want to do that. I said earlier, I work with, maximum 5 people. I think it's currently 3 personally, but I'm very selective as to who I work with directly. But many of you, unfortunately, affordability might be an issue. There's probably some people, there's actually people saying, well, let's have lunch and talk about it. Okay. So there are people that could afford it, but let me sort of move on from that. What if I could help you for a lot less than 750,000 Rand a year? Now, please understand, I'm not going to do it all for you. I'm not going to literally sit and do the work for you, because that's kind of crazy. I'm going to have to charge you silly money to do that. So I'm not going to do everything for you, but I am going to give you everything I have, teach you everything I know, continuously support you, and continuously advise you on doing it and optimizing it to maximize your results. Okay, so I'm going to do everything I can within, I'm just saying it's not affordable at 750,000. I understand. Okay. Sorry, I must stop looking at the comments. There's so many of them coming through. It's distracting me. All right. So who would be interested in that? Okay. So obviously at a better price range than 750,000 Rand for a year. Who would be interested if we could come up with some way that we could really assist you and maximize it? But obviously, like maybe in a group format, and you're going to do a lot of the work, but we're going to guide you and help you and hold your hand through that process. Okay, so Yeah. All right. Lots of people say, now's the time. Please, me. I want to, help. All right, this is what took me, of course, from 50 million up to 50 million rand business, and then it's going to take me up to 400 million rand business in the next 3 years. But please, disclaimer, and I just keep saying this because I don't want people to have the wrong impression about coming into this. I'm not going to grow your business 20 times in a year or something crazy like that, which we actually did in 18 months. But you are going to get significantly bigger results if you follow through and you do what you're supposed to do. So, how many of you would invest 100,000 rand if you knew it would make you 1 million rand a year? It's a silly question, because if I could invest 100,000 rand with one of my financial, managers of my investments, and they would make me a 10 times return in a year, I would sell my house, I would sell my furniture, I would sell myself, I would just collect as much money as I could possibly get and give it to them so I can get a 10 times return a year. That's crazy. I'm talking in the context of a business. Okay, would you invest 100,000 to make 1 million extra revenue in your business? That's the question. I want you to bear that in mind as we go through this particular offer that is going to be for some of you. First, I'm going to start with a bribe. I know that some people said we really like those programs like the Business Financial Mastery and the Make Millions Online. So if you take me up on this offer, I'm going to give those to you for free. Okay, no extra cost. 30,000 rands worth of products. You'll get them the minute you sign up, and you can start working on those. These are value adds. One of the reasons I really want to give you Business Financial Mastery is I want to teach you how to make a lot more money, but I really want you to manage it to make a lot more profit. Okay, because fundamentally, when we teach entrepreneurship, financially, it's about profit, not income. So, I've learned that making a lot more money just gives you a lot more opportunities to spend it. It's like there are opportunities you don't even know about now. You suddenly double your income, and all of a sudden, there's just crazy opportunities for you to spend that money. Okay, there's a whole reason for that, but that's another seminar. But that's why I want to actually give you the Financial Mastery. The Make Millions Online is a great base course to start with. But anyway, I'm going to give you free if you join, or if you privilege enough, because I'm only going to take in a very few people to the Real Entrepreneur Marketing Inner Circle with myself. Okay, and this is a place where I'm going to work with a select group of people to maximize the results in terms of growth of their business and increasing their revenue and hopefully increasing their profit, like I said, which is arguably the most important thing. So what do you get if you join the Inner Circle? Well, first, you get extensive training. All right, we're busy building the Real Marketing Core training. This is like I don't know how many. It's going to be like 40, 50 videos. They're shortish. Some are 20 minutes, some are 30 minutes, some are 5 minutes, but they're broken into little modules so that you can reuse them and come back and visit them. And it covers everything that I just spoke about. It covers all the how-to, all right? So it's how do we, acquire people in different ways? How do we sell more effectively to people? How do we, create the funnels and maximize? In fact, those are sections inside the training that we go through. And then there's a whole lot of background contextual talking about, understanding markets and understanding how people respond and stuff. So it's a very, very, very comprehensive program that's going to teach you practically how to do a whole lot of stuff that's going to get you results, okay? Then we're going to also give you Facebook marketing training. So there's two levels. Some of you might have done training in Facebook before, which is normally basic training. We're going to give you advanced. And advanced is where we teach you how to actually use tools to test different campaigns, to see which ones are performing, which angles are performing the best, which images are performing the best, which formats are performing the best, and which audiences are performing the best. And we're going to give you a whole lot of tools. So Facebook marketing is one of the key areas because it gives you one of the greatest areas to focus on. But we're not going to exclusively work in Facebook marketing. We're also we've got some friends who are going to be helping us with Google marketing. We're going to be doing a lot of trials in there, and also just traditional marketing, like advertising and brochures and all kinds of things like that. But Facebook is a really, really powerful tool to utilize. So we're going to give you a whole lot of that. We're also going to give you hourly every twice a month. We're going to spend like an hour teaching you on the latest trends, what's happened, what's updated, what's working, what's not working, and then we're going to add a whole lot of courses. This is over a 12-month period. So I'm asking you to come in for 12 months. It's not essential that you do, but I would like to work with you for at least 12 months, and you can stay longer if you want to. And we're going to add a whole lot of additional training. Mostly you guys are going to dictate. You're going to say, we want to learn more about how to do this and how to do that, and we're going to decide if there's a lot of people wanting something. We're going to create a training program for that. So it's going to be about, if we had to sell all this training, because a lot of it won't be made available to public, one or two of the modules or the courses might be sold independently, it would be at least 90,000 rand. Okay, that's at a conservative estimate. We also, and this is arguably even more valuable, I mean, the training is critical. If you don't have it, you're going to be blind, you're going to be ignorant. That's your education, right? But we're going to give you case studies. So pretty much monthly, So I'm testing every month. This is my obsession at the moment. So I'll be testing different strategies, different campaigns, different platforms in terms of, getting people in, acquiring people into the system. And I'm going to be sharing that with you on a continuous basis. I'm literally going to be, like I said, I spent $250,000 on a single base test the other month. So, I'm going to do it at a scale as well that many of you may be not able to do it. But I'm also going to share with you what other students are doing. That gives it a lot more reality sometimes. And so we're going to case study. We'll ask particular students when they produce results, if we can case study them, and also my mentors and some of their students as well. So that we really see it. I mean, it's funny because I price this at 30. It's probably worth more than the training because, you could see a case study of how we did something to get a certain, outcome. You could duplicate it and potentially end up, doubling your turnover or making $1 million or something. And, so how do I value it? But I'm very conservative. It's at least 30,000 Rand just to get that value towards you as well, right? And then what do you get more? So you got the extensive modulated training, very important. There's a lot you're going to have to learn. We're going to try and give it all to you in one place. We will also advise you where you can go and learn more extensively in certain areas. But for most of you, it'll be adequate to go through all our different trainings. That'll be ongoing. So you're constantly growing, constantly learning how to do things better. Case studies, which are worth conservatively, and I should really change this, but I just said 30,000, so it's 120,000 in value. Then we're going to give you, now this is what we call stacking, right? So what we're doing is I looked, when I put this together, I looked at what are all the things I can add in to maximize the outcome that you can get, all right? I could have gone cheap and said, okay, I'll give this to you for a low price and just given you the training and left you on your own. 90% of you, if not more, would not actually do anything with it, all right? So we want to maximize the outcome, and that's why I'm adding all these things on. So we're going to do live group, I'm going to do live group coaching, video coaching with you every couple of weeks. And this is your opportunity to actually get me to help you personally, where I normally charge you silly money to do this. So you're going to have options to write in and say, right, I've got this, come in advance, tell us what, we're going to workshop it, we're going to share it with you, but also all the other students, because it's amazing what you learn from other people's examples, all right? So, it becomes extremely valuable. We're going to review your sites. We're going to, work on your offers. We're going to tweak your copy, improve your sales processes, pretty much anything you need. We're going to help you with in that process, okay? And again, very conservatively, with 30,000 Rand to you individually over a year. So extensive modulated training, the case studies, and the live group coaching with over 150,000 so far. And then you're also going to get templates on everything. So Frank in particular, but a number of my mentors said, guys, give them everything you can from a perspective of templates, because I've spent years learning how to write copy. I've spent years understanding what sort of headlines to use and what sort of processes and what sort of emails to write. And, I take it for granted. For most of you, like you've never done that before. So we're going to take existing templates that clients are using. Some of you will give us permission to share your stuff, tons of stuff that I'm going to create for you. And we're just going to give it to you, right? So you're going to have product modeling templates. You're going to have marketing modeling templates, sales presentation, webinar templates, literally the presentations you should use in order to sell in structure, sales copy templates, and I think stuck landing page templates, email and SMS copy, just whatever we can create, whatever I've used and whatever I can get my hands on that has been proven to have worked for other people, I'm going to give it to you. I can't again really value that. I'm saying 50,000 Rand, but some of it's invaluable. We're going to teach you also how to use other people to do some of that stuff if you're really stuck, but use our templates and work around those in terms of customizing them. So we're going to give you all of that. That's really worth 200,000. Then we're going to give you a planning system, because one of the biggest problems is people learn all this stuff and they learn how to do all this stuff, but then there's chaos. We're going to give you a process, a system that you can draw up. We're actually going to give you the plan. All right. So it's going to say you've got to do this first, then this, then this, then this, and you're going to put dates to it, and you're going to put time angles to it, and you're going to allocate it to people, mostly yourself, I would assume. And we're going to give you this whole planning system where you can determine your goals, manage your research process, manage your product modeling process, manage your marketing modeling process, manage your campaign creation process, manage your marketing cycles. And that's worth 24,000. That's what we actually charge just for the system with the template. And the template's not just a blank template. It's a template that has masses of steps already built into it that you can just copy, paste, or leave out or do whatever you want to with. And then lastly, and most importantly, I'm going to throw in a personal accountability coach, because one of the problems I know I'm going to face with you, and you're going to end up bugging me about it, is that you're not following through, and you're going to be asking me stuff in the live coaching. I'm going to say, guys, module number 24 and step number 22 in the plan. So this accountability coach is going to firstly help you complete your planning modules, etc. They're also going to guide you through your systems and processes, but they're going to help you set weekly and monthly goals and hold you accountable to doing what you have to do. I want to absolutely maximize the likelihood of you getting an incredible result from this, okay? I cannot control you. I cannot make you do what I teach you, but I absolutely want to maximize the result that you're going to get out of this, all right? And so we're going to throw in our low-end coaches are 36,000 Rand a year. Many of our high-end coaches actually want to work because this is very targeted accountability coaching that charge a lot more. They want to work with you at this particular level. Okay, so what do you get in total? Your extensive modulating training, case studies on a monthly basis, what's working and what's not working, live group coaching every 2 weeks with me where you can literally ask me to help you with your campaigns and with your copy and all types of stuff, templates on everything that we can get our hands on, all right, to make it as copy and paste for you as possible, planning systems with a plan built into it, and a personal accountability coach. All of that, if I had to sell it to you individually, at least 260,000 Rand. So I said it'll be less than 750, so 260 I think is fair, right? Obviously, I'll try and do a bit better than that. So, of course, you're wondering what I'm going to charge. And thank you for allowing me to explain all that. I need to show you the value before I tell you what it's going to cost, because otherwise you don't have any reference to know what you're getting. So that's the value that you're going to get. What's it going to cost you? So let's get straight to it. Remember, this is all of this stuff. Just repeating myself here. What's the investment? 99,950 Rand. Pretty much better than 750,000 Rand. That's for 12 months. And it's minimum of 260,000 Rand with a tangible value that you're going to get in return for that. You can pay for it monthly. By the way, very, very important. I'm only taking 10 people in. So when I give the go, if you know you want this, you want to take action. My job now is to eliminate some of you through a few other things that I want to share with you, and then I'm going to give you the go. But I'm only taking 10 people in today. So you want to make sure if you know you want this, take action, all right? You can pay for it monthly. So you can pay 9,995 Rand per month. 10 grand a month, let's say. It's inclusive of that, so you can claim that back. But you can pay it monthly. Obviously, it's at a premium. If you pay it up front, it's a better deal. But you can do that. But listen, this is the first. I'm literally launching this. I've launched this to a select group of my students. I did yesterday morning and the end of last week. Now I'm launching it to my community. Most people in this room are actually part of my community. Then we go heavy onto the marketing and bring a lot of new people in. Some of you are brand new. So I'm going to give you a better deal. In fact, maybe you don't want it. Would you guys like a better deal? Would you like me to do better than that? Because let me know in the questions box. I'm actually going to, because I can just skip these slides. If everyone's happy to pay that, then that's what I really want to charge you. So if you'd like a better deal, let me know in the chat box. Otherwise, I might just skip this section. I'm being a little bit facetious here. But if you'd like a better deal, let me know. I'm curious to see how many of you would be very interested in being part of the marketing in the circle, and how many of you would like a better deal than 99,950 for the year. Okay, so the delay is over. Yes, please, yes, what, blah, 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 blah. Out of my bracket at that price. I get it. Okay, so lots and lots of people saying, yes, better deal, please. It's a kind of stupid question, isn't it? All right, so I'm going to give it to you guys exclusively because this is, like I said, our launch webinar to our community and to a little bit of the public at a better price. I'm not going to charge you 99,000 bucks for a year or 10,000 Rand a month. I'm going to give it to you for 49,950 Rand for 12 months or 4,995 Rand per month. Now, please understand, this is the lowest I can go, and it's not going to stay at this price for very long. Basically, we're going to teach you how to model extensively what all your costs of delivery are, of all the unforeseen potential expenses, and how to maximize your margin, but maximize in value whilst getting the highest margin. I mean, I've worked this for months before I put it together, okay, and tested it with my team and discussed it with my mentors. So this is the lowest I can possibly go, and it's only going to be for you guys that want to take action now, all right? So please understand that. Please don't come and ask me for discounts or can I sponsor or anything like that. I'm like I said, I'm not an altruist. So I'm only taking 10 people in, and we're going to fill it up in September. We're only going to work with a limited group of people, and we're going to fill it up in September, and the price is going to go up next week. All right, so we're going to move to that 99 grand because that's what we're going to charge at least the second half of the group of people that we bring in. So you guys get this crazy special price. It's not prohibitively expensive. I know for some people it is to a degree, but in the context of business, 5 grand a month is not a lot of money for many businesses, but it does keep the freebie. This is actually Frank Kern's term, the freebie-seeking knuckleheads away. And that's true, because if we did this really cheap, what happens is people come in and then they expect far more than they're paying for. And that's very frustrating. It's one of the things I'm going to teach you, especially if you're in coaching or services. I'm going to teach you to really quantify that, because people will take advantage of you if you come in too cheap. So I've sort of priced it, like I said, at the best way that I possibly can to make sure that, the freebie seekers that are going to take advantage of me, even though, they would pay something, are left out in the cold, unfortunately. But I promise you, for the right people, this membership's going to pay you. You're not even going to, it's an investment. You're not even going to see it as a cost, because, within a fairly short period of time, your return on the investment is going to be obvious to you, and you're never going to want to leave it, which is obviously my objective, okay, to keep you there as long as I can. So let me be clear about a couple of things. I want to eliminate some people now, so please pay attention to this, okay? Number one, it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. I'm just going to reiterate what I said before. It's also not sit on your ass and make a lot of money, okay? It is going to take a dedicated amount of effort, commitment, and consistent doing in order to achieve anything worthwhile. Please, I need you to understand this. Please don't sign up and want to sit on your backside and expect everything to be done for you. My results are not typical, like I said, so please don't come on and think you're going to get my results. And it's not going to work for all businesses, but many. So I'm going to throw in a little thing here. If you're not sure if it'll work for your business, but you really want to be part of this and you don't want to miss out on the special, I'm going to give it 1 month sort of leeway. This is now, just listen to my disclaimer, right? This is only for select people. In the first month, if you and I both decide that this is not going to work for your business, if you and I both decide that this is not going to work for your business, then I'm going to give you all your money back and you can leave. Okay, so we're going to make that decision if we're unsure about whether it's going to work for your business, just so that I don't have to try and figure it out in advance for you. But if you should know what it is, you should understand what you're going to get. So bear that in mind. Some other critical factors: you must be willing to spend money on marketing and advertising. Now, this is not like 100% cast in stone, but I'm really looking for people that are prepared to invest in growing their business. All right, and so you must, in most cases, I'm going to expect you're going to have to buy systems. You're going to have to do all types of stuff. It's going to cost money. All right. So if you only got 50 grand and then you broke for the rest of your life, probably not going to work. You need a lot of education, implement some of it maybe, but you're going to have to invest something. So please make sure that you're capable of doing that if you want to come on board. Excuse me. You must have time to learn, implement and measure and adjust on a continuous basis. So you must be prepared to put the time and energy into this. And you may well not make money on your first attempts. Okay, I want to put that out there up front, all right? So this is a process of learning and implementing over time. And my objective is not for you to lose money at the beginning, and my objective is not for you to wait 6 months before you're making money, okay? But I don't want you to come in and think, I'm going to learn some stuff, put it into play, and 2 weeks' time, I'm going to make a fortune, all right? It's not going to be the reality. But listen, I'm looking for every member to succeed. Hence why I might kick you out and give you money back. But I'm looking for every member to see, and I'm going to do everything I can to get you to succeed. All right. That's my commitment to you for those that I choose to take on. So don't forget my bribe. You also get the Business Mastery course and the Make Millions Online for free. And I'm going to give another unashamed bribe. This is just for you guys as well. All right. This one's pretty cool. And I can't give this to everyone. So, the 10 people that choose to sign up today, I'm going to give you a personal review of your first product and market modeling, as well as your first campaign that you create. I'm going to review it, and you're going to send it to me. I'm going to review it, and then I'm going to have a one-on-one session with you to give you feedback. All right. If somebody had to say, "Will you do that for me?" I would charge them 20,000 rand. All right, I'm going to do that one-on-one with you, okay? I can only do that for the limited people that take up this offer. Today, it's obviously not open-ended for everybody. So total bribes are actually worth 50 grand, which is what I'm stupidly charging you for this program as it stands now. So what do you get? All of this: extensive modulated training, case studies, live group coaching every 2 weeks, templates on everything, planning systems, and the plan that you can utilize, personal accountability coach, etc., and 50,000 rands within bribes. 300 grand plus worth in value for 49,950 rand. I'm only taking 10 people in, and I'm filling up as quickly as possible. The price is going up next week. All right, so now it's time to take action. But I want to give you a guarantee for those that are just concerned that you invest the money and you don't get a return. So firstly, if you sign up monthly, you can cancel at any time. So you're not committed. We ask you, we are looking for people to be committed for 12 months, but we ask you to commit to for at least 3 months. But we're not going to force you. You might have a financial problem and then you opt out. You can sign up and opt out anytime. So you don't have to make that full commitment up front. If you want to, we're not going to hold you to a 12-month period. But if you do stick with us for 12 months, after 12 months, if you haven't got at least 3 times in your investment back in additional profits, not revenue, it's going to be easy to get the revenue, but in profits, we'll give you a 100% refund. Okay. So as long as you're doing what we tell you to do, as long as you're working with us on a continuous basis, I can see you proactive, you're doing things regularly, and you'll be feeding back, I'm doing this and it's not working, I'm doing this and it's not working. And, we get to that 12-month period and we go, listen, you didn't make lots of that money back that you invested many times over. Then I'm not going to keep your money because it's a failure. I don't want you going, I spent that money and got nothing out of it. All right. That's definitely not what I want to do in business. So those are your guarantees. So your options are, and let me put it up because a lot of people are saying, please, can we buy it? It's terrible. I don't want you to buy it. Let me put the offer up. So there's going to be a little thing that pops up where you can actually just click on and go and purchase. Let me just click load and display the offer. And so you should see it pop up there in the right-hand control bar. And it says real marketing, in abbreviation marketing in a circle, and you just click on that to sign up. So those that know they want 10, but just before you go in, there's two options. Obviously, your month by month, pay your first installment, $49995, $9995. I just said 49,000. $4995 per month. You can cancel anytime. Pay your first installment. Our team will get hold of you to work out how you're going to pay the rest. And then the annual option, I'm just going to incentivize you because I can't give this to people that are paying monthly. It would just be too much from my side. So firstly, you're actually saving 10,000 Rand if you haven't worked it out, if you pay annually. So, if you've got the money, save the money, use it for something, worthwhile, like putting it into your savings or having it for extra marketing cash. But I'm going to give you 2 hours of one-on-one coaching. Again, this is limited, obviously, just to this group. And it's worth 30,000 Rand. You can sit face to face with me. You can sit on Skype with me. You can break it into 4 sessions of half an hour if you want to, whatever's going to work for you. But I'm going to give you additional 2 hours. That's only for the people that pay up front. All right. And that's just because I can't possibly give that much time to people that might pay once and not pay the next month. So please understand that. So your options are there. There's the place to click and sign up. I am now going to go back to the chat and obviously answer any questions. You've got any questions about this program, please feel free to ask them. Any questions about what I've taught you, please feel free to ask me. I saw hundreds of questions coming through, so I'm going to sift through. And if you wrote something a while ago, please type it in again, maybe, so I can see it near the top. But before I do that, I actually sat and I asked the question, do you know that this investment that I'm asking you to make, if you paid monthly for 12 months, my presentation's frozen. Hello, there we go. This investment is 164.22 per day. Okay, that's all it is, 164.22 per day. So I thought, let me actually figure out what you could buy for 164.22. And there's a lot of things you could buy for that per day, but this is the one I wanted to share with you. What could you buy for 164.22 a day? You could go to Spur. For most of you, you'll know what Spur is. And you can get a cheddar melt schnitzel, either chicken or beef, with a cool drink and the tip for 164.22 or thereabouts. Or you can go to Wimpy, 2 very well-known restaurant chains in South Africa, and you get a mixed grill and a cool drink and the tip for 164.22. But this is for one person, okay? If you're going to feed 2 people, you're going to have to get something much smaller, or you're going to have to put extra money in. So you could literally go and get a meal from Spur or Wimpy every day, or you could come on board with us and grow your business. Now, what's going to give you greater value? Do you want to eat a meal or equivalent every day at Spur and Wimpy? Or do you want to learn how to develop marketing campaigns that can double your turnover over the next year? This is how you sometimes got to think of it in terms of investment. It's crazy. It's like, it's an obvious answer for me. Maybe it's not so much for you. So consider this. 164.22 a day is not going to change your life. It's going to, like $5,000 a month. It's not going to exactly pay for a hell of a lot in life as a whole. But working with us, and us working together, we can change your business and therefore change your life. We can dramatically, if I could help you make another million, make another 5 million, I don't know, double your business, triple your business. Disclaimer again, that is going to happen with a number of you. But for some of you, might already have a fair sized business, so you're increasing it by 20% is going to be significant. But if I can help you achieve that, surely it's worth a lot more than 164 Rand, as in a hamburger or a hamburger chicken, a schnitzel or a mixed grill every day. Anyway, you can make that call. I fully understand if the mixed grill and schnitzel is more important to you. That's entirely up to you. That's entirely up to you. All right. I know Maritza's saying, is there a webinar? I don't know what she's talking about. Okay, so there it is, guys. The full offer up on the screen. Please click to sign up. You just click on that little link if you want to, and I'm going to answer questions now in a couple of minutes. So you click on that little link, and you're going to see there you can select an option. I know you can't see my screen, but if you click on it, you'll see it. You can select the option to purchase for a year up front. You get 2 months for free, and you're going to get that extra 2 hours of coaching with me personally. And then you're going to click on, sorry, I just realized, Maritza, stop Skyping, please. And then you have the option otherwise to go monthly. So you can pay your first installment of $4,995, and then you can choose that as an option. We'll contact you afterwards to figure out how you're going to pay on a monthly basis thereafter. So either way is going to get you in. All right? And there's only 10 spots. So eventually it's going to show you quantity, and then eventually it's going to go sold out. And that's when the 10 have gone. So take advantage of it. If you want to know if it's still available, because obviously lots of people are already going through to buy, just go click on the link. And if it says sold out, then it's sold out. All right. It will then be available a little bit later, maybe next week, but it's going to be at a premium. So please understand that. If you want to spend the next 10, 20,000 Rand more, wait till next week. Now I'm going to go and look at the questions if I can, because there are still hundreds of people in the room. So let's see. I know Sally's been working overtime there answering questions. Okay, I'm going to look for the ones with regards to the real marketing blueprint. How can you implement it to a labor broker business? So I need to ask you a lot more questions about your business as a labor broker business. So that's I can't just answer you off the cuff, because that's quite a complex thing, and I'd need to know a lot more to answer on that basis, because labor brokering, I understand what it is, but you'd have to give me more insight as to how it works and who you sell to and how you sell, etc., etc. If you're really keen to join, like I said, join. You and I will have a discussion and we'll figure out if it's going to work for you. But for most others, I see a lot of people putting their businesses up. Yes, it'll work on the basis of that as well. Okay, it's lots of thank yous. All right, guys, there's so many questions. If you can type them in again. So I'm going to look at the questions that come in from the top, because I know Sally's been answering quite a few of them already. Christian, it will, and I just if you're keen, let us know. Because I'm sure you can probably still sign up, because we've finished the process. I'm talking to a student here. We finished the process at the end of next week. But just maybe let the team know you're keen, because that price might go up, and that's something you want to avoid, obviously. All right, guys, you got any questions? Please just type them in. If you're stuck, somebody's coming in saying, I'm struggling to work in Quicket. If you're stuck with making a payment, or if it's rejecting you, and you can pay by EFT or credit card, please, though, EFT is only for South Africa. And EFT, if you book EFT, it's going to reserve it, but you've got to get it in. If you don't get it in within like 24 hours, then we're going to cancel it and give it to somebody else, okay, because we've only taken in 10. So make sure if you do EFT that you do the EFT straight away. There's an instant EFT option, but that does give problems sometimes. So please take action. If we're going to chase you, we're just going to cancel your booking. So please make sure you take action if you select EFT. But if you are having problems, if you're using your credit card and it's kicking you out, let us know, so we can try and help you with that, because we don't want you to lose out on the opportunity as a whole. So please let us know accordingly. Right? Any other questions about anything I've taught, and of course about anything to do with the program, please let me know. Sally, if there was anything that came up, maybe just Skype it to me that you needed me to answer. Thanks, Hendrik. And there's a number of people just saying thank you. Guys, we are officially finished, meaning that I see we actually did in 7.5 hours. I was worried. I was going quite fast because I was worried we weren't going to keep it in the 2 hours. But I'm here to answer questions. I will sit here for the next half an hour answering questions, giving other input, answering anything, helping people. Our team will sit and help you if you're trying to sign up. So please, feel free to hang around with us. But we are officially finished, and we'll set it so that the free audio comes to you as long as you're in the room up until 7:30. So any of you that need to leave and aren't taking the offer or don't have any questions, you're welcome to go. But the rest of you, I'm here to serve you. So let us know what you want to know, either about the product or service, about anything else that I shared earlier. Somebody's interested in the Financial Business Mastery Program. Well, it was there, Sal, so they could see the cost and everything. So you're welcome. If somebody wants that, just get their details and you can follow them up on it. Thanks for all the. Let me know if you got some value. I see people are telling me thank you so much. It's been really helpful, and I appreciate that. It kind of helps me, because I spend all this time talking to my screen. So let me know if you got some value out of this, so I make sure that as I deliver it further, that we make sure it is valuable. And thanks for all the appreciation that's been shared. I really appreciate that. That's unfortunately made questions disappear again, because there's so many things coming through. How do I grow? How do I go about growing a florist? We buy flowers from an auction, and it infuriates me every time. So, Tandekeli, I would need to know a little bit more about what you mean by you grow from an auction and why it infuriates you. Because, guys, if you just sort of say, I do this, how do I grow it? It's very open-ended. And two things. I don't want to spend half an hour answering a question to one person. But more importantly, I don't have nearly enough information to give you that answer. You'll see if you sign up with us, we ask you to fill out a whole form with a whole lot of questions so that it becomes easier for us to coach and work with you. Hafsal, yeah. So, Hafsal saying like, I'd like to get in touch with you and sit and talk to you. It's like, unfortunately, my schedule is pretty hectic when it comes to just talking to people. I get asked all the time, literally daily, by numerous people, can I have a meeting? Can I talk to you? Can I discuss my business with you? It's just not practical. All right. It's just impractical. The people that I work with and do discuss and work with are people that are in the programs like this. So if you want to get me, you're going to have to join the program. Otherwise, you're going to have to pay, 10 or 20,000 Rand for a consultation, which I don't do very often because I have many things that I do with my time. But please, a couple of people are saying, can we just sit down and have a discussion? Not practical. If you come into the program and you feel you need to discuss something, then I will talk to you, but you've got to show the commitment in terms of actually joining the program. All right. Ooh, there's lots of questions coming through. Okay. Lots of thank yous. I'm running a property municipal accounts consultation business. Will it work for me? So again, Dudley, I need to know a little bit more. It probably will, because obviously you have multiple clients. A couple of the criteria is that you sell to a lot of clients and you don't sell a 20 Rand product, because that obviously is going to be difficult to invest into. But we'd need to, I'm pretty sure, I think what you do is similar to what another one of my students actually does, and in which case it will work. So remember that you've got that ability to come into the program, and if you and I decide over the first few months, and we'll connect. If we decide that it's not going to work for you, then I'll just give you a full refund, and you can take what you've learned from that point forward. So I'll give you that guarantee, because I don't want to try and say to people direct, yes, it's going to work, it's not going to work, because I need to learn more about your business and find, and ask you a bunch of questions, which is what will happen when you sign up, soon after you sign up. Are there any businesses or trade or industries that you couldn't help, Mari? So I don't know all the businesses at the top of my head. There are definitely going to be some that this process is going to help less. This process can help everyone, because there's a lot of, understanding of the whole context of how we market and sell. But, I wouldn't invest, 50,000 bucks if I'm not going to be doing advertising and marketing. If I'm selling, 20 Rand products on the street or through a little store, you will learn a lot about how to attract people to the store and what have you. But there's this whole concept of cost to acquisition. So it's more usable to companies that earn, reasonable fees, either for their time or for products that they sell, in the thousands, because then you can invest, a cost per acquisition to actually acquire people, and then you're in more control. So, that's sort of one of the factors that comes into play. But I don't want to exclude just on the basis of excluding. So, like I said, if you sell to corporates and you only have 4 or 5 clients and it's major presentations, you will learn about how to better present your presentation. And, some of my experts are specialists at actually pitching and tendering. And, some of them will come in and chat to you, and I'll get them to come and advise you and what have you. But it may not be as, I can do this and produce results as quickly as people that actually have, tangible products in the service industry, or in as coaches or consultants. Those guys are all going to get exceptional value. But there are lots. Like I said, we're working with a construction company. We're working with a medical practitioner. We're working with various different, industries. So, it's a bit hard for me to say which ones are excluded. I kind of have to figure that out in a discussion as well. But hopefully I'm giving you enough information to make a decision whether you want in or not. Is it still available? I assume so. Just click on the link, and my team haven't said it's run out. My team have actually said something. Okay, they've actually made a few extra available, because I think the 10 did go. So okay, so look, as long as when you click on the link, if there's a drop down, says you can select 1, 2, or 3, then it's available. If it says sold out, then it means that it's run out of whatever that basis we put in. My team can be quite generous, so. I'm looking at them with a skew face, even though they're not sitting in front of me. But just click on the link. If it shows available, then it's available. Thanks, Adele, really one of the students that have signed up. Thanks for all the thanks, guys. Tons of thank yous and what have you. I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm not obviously reading everyone's comment. I'm reading everyone, but I'm not going to read them out aloud. You detailed today everything. Yeah, Christian, and yeah, I mean, sales is it's a challenge, and one of the things we're going to have to help you guys with is how to overcome those little voices in your head that stop you from wanting to sell effectively or sell like I spend a fair amount of time selling now, and some people don't like that. They think it's negative and they don't want to bore people and all that kind of stuff. It's all about the results. So we're gonna work on you from a personal perspective as well, because Christian says he hates selling, but it all depends on what you're selling, Christian, and then we can look at sometimes we don't have to do direct selling. Sometimes we can create a sales machine that actually generates a lot of the leads or sales for you. Marina, I look forward to meeting you in January as well. That's obviously at the Real Entrepreneur Intensive. Okay, there's a question that's already there. So Amanda's asking about whether we can help with a business plan in order to acquire funding and what have you. So our team can. I wouldn't necessarily sign up for this program for that. But we do have specialists in our team that can help you. We have a standard coaching program that might be better. If you're interested in that, let us know and we'll get one of the coaches to talk to you about it. That's not specific to sales marketing, so you don't get all this added value stuff that we give you. But we do, in that process, we have some people that can sometimes help you with that. So maybe chat to one of the coaches. Just let us know. Put your name and phone number in. If you need us to contact you, we got your name. Put your phone number and your email. If you're struggling to book, or if you need us to contact you about something that's critical related to our products or services, just put your phone number and email address, please. That'll be the trigger that we know that we must contact you. It's in private, so no one can see it, obviously. So just our team. Oh, wow, there's so many comments here. Yeah, James, you're interested in financial program, just put your contact details in. Our team will contact you with regards to that. Thanks, guys. Thanks for all the thanks. Clive, okay, that's the instant EFT. Sometimes it gives problems. Then just select pay. There's instant EFT and there's just general pay into the bank. So you can select that, and then you can just do the EFT manually. So it does give a few hassles with the instant EFT. So it works sometimes, but sometimes it gives you hassles. So then just select the other option and then do an EFT straight into the bank. Just do that as soon as possible, Clive, to guarantee your spot there. On the real marketing, I missed the K and the T. Okay, you mean on the acronym in terms of K and T. Okay, so K was keep adjusting. All right, keep adjusting, because it was basically marketing was measure, keep adjusting, and T was time, over time. So measure, keep adjusting over time is a primary formula to maximize the reward from that. So the K was for keep adjusting and the T was for time. So if we see again, very open. His question is, how can I get clients and get paid for my youth development product? I've developed a life skills manual, which I'm currently offering for free to the youth. This is a problem we see where we want to be altruists and we want to just help people, but we're broke and struggling ourselves. It's like a very common problem in South Africa. And, I want to help people. I mean, that's the underlying driving force of what I do, but I need to be successful in order to effectively help people. So we'd have to look at your product and whether it's comprehensive enough, and obviously package it and probably, come up with a pricing that makes sense in order for you to go and find, go to market, whether that market is sponsored or direct people to purchase it. So if you're on the program, we'd have to do quite a lot of work. You're obviously a startup or it's very new for you. But yeah, it's pretty open-ended. I would need to ask you a lot more before I can answer that in detail. Okay, so some people have got our bank details, throw the money in. That just means we might go with the 10 though, team, but okay. Thanks, Christian. Excellent. Good to hear. Good to hear. We're going to talk more about the contribution compass in the next session, Christian. So look forward to that. I'm assuming you're on Real Entrepreneur Online Intensive. It might be the wrong assumption, but excellent, excellent. Okay. All right. So we've got lots of phone numbers, and please email and phone number if you're interested. Email and phone number. Amanda's saying in the coaching, so there we can get Lisa, our head coach, to maybe speak to her. Email and phone number if you're struggling. There's a lot of them coming through. Then we can sort you out from that. Louise, I'm stuck with you for a year. I look forward to the challenge, and I look forward to coming and chilling in Neisner a couple of times, because it's not. I love Neisner. I used to work for a couple of clients down there, and I used to go there relatively regularly, but that was years and years ago. All right, guys, if I've missed a question, please just type it in again. I'm not ignoring. It's just that I'm literally scrolling through, hundreds of comments. So it's very likely I might have missed a question. So please just type it again so it comes up at the top, like some of you I already know have done, and I'll do my best to answer it. And there are still, what is it? There's still like hundreds of you in the room. So that would mean let me address this actually. That, if there's still hundreds of you in the room, that means you may be still thinking about it. I know that some people commonly say, look, I can't really afford this. And I have a very simple answer to that. Okay. You can't afford not to do it. I mean, if the very issue is that you cannot afford it, you can't afford not to do it. Now, I understand if you're a startup and you have like 2,000 Rand to your name a month or whatever, then it's going to be unaffordable to you. But a lot of people, when I went on this mission in 2012, I remember at the beginning of 2012, I had this big kind of intervention with myself. I was depressed for like a number of weeks until I asked a proactive question. And I said, right, I want to go and learn. So when I decided I'm going to become a humble student, go and learn from people that I knew and learn from programs that I actually done, the first one I decided to do was Tony Robbins' Unleash the Power Within, which is something we've taken 100 South Africans to in February again in Singapore. But and I decided, I'm going to go and do Tony because Tony was my original mentor, but I've never actually, I've never actually seen him live. I'd only done his audio programs and read his books. And there I was. I'm going to go to Tony. You've got to go to Tony because he doesn't come here. And so I went on his website, and the next UPW was in New York. I love New York. It's my second home now. But at that stage, it was one of the first times I went to New York. And I was like, I love New York. I want to go to New York. And I mean, New York just happens to be one of the more expensive cities in the world, right? And so the ticket was already, I think, equivalent now today to probably close to 20,000 Rand just for the ticket to attend the event. Then I got to fly. So I had to spend all this money. I didn't have the money. I was like, here I am, being like spontaneous, saying, and guess what? It was in 6 weeks' time. 6 weeks' time, I'm going to be in New York with Tony Robbins. I need to raise like $100,000 to do that. I don't have the money. How I'm going to do it. And you know what? I found the money. I made it happen because it was important enough for me. All right. And, that was such a pinnacle time in my life off the back of time. I've been to Tony numerous times to different events, and some of those events cost 100,000 Rand a ticket. It was such a pinnacle time that, I invested in that year of 2012. I invested more than 250,000 Rand. And remember, I was broke when I started, and I wasn't that much better off. I was better off by the end of it. But, it was only in the next year that I started to get really quantum, rises in my income. And I spent over 250,000 Rand going to events overseas and attending local events, buying audiobooks, buying CDs, attending events, working with people, getting, personal one-on-one help. And I look back, it's like the best investment I've ever made. The return that I got on that 250,000 Rand is just, it's silly. It's silly. So please consider this. I mean, if you're sort of on the fence, you've got all the guarantees in the world. I've done everything I can to make it but find the money. Once you've spent it, once you're in, it's no longer going to be an issue. Okay. Because now you're going to start implementing and learning. And that's, as entrepreneurs, that's so often the case. If there's something we really want, we somehow find the money for it, and then we carry on being broke afterwards. Well, my objective is to get you to not be broke after a few months. All right. And change the dynamic of your business. But it is purely an investment. So please, if you're sitting on the fence, it's a chance you want to take. But having said that, of course, I'm only taking a limited number of people in. So, but I have got students that come in that the affordability is like on the edge of what they can do. And funny enough, they sometimes become the most dedicated students, the ones that are committed to a higher level. So I've got other students who 50 grand is like a drop in the ocean. So, it's just the way of life, I guess. But please, be serious about this and time. I know some people say, I don't have the time. I'll do it later. I'm like, that's fine, but nothing's going to change. What do you think? You're going to suddenly have more time later? Have you ever noticed that every time you think you'll have more time in 2 months' time, that you get to 2 months' time and you don't have more time? This system is going to help you get your time back, right? We're going to teach you how to automate as much as possible and do things as effectively as possible independently. It's a pleasure, guys. Lots of thank yous still coming through. All right. Any other questions? I'm going to hang around for a while, but that's it for us. Thank you so much for letting me listen. There's still, like I said, we still got there's still almost 200 people in the room. That's crazy. If you've got any questions, ask them. Anything you want to know, any bit of convincing you want, why should you do this? Please feel free to ask them. I'm here to chat to you. You don't often get me on a sort of open end like this without paying me a lot of money just to answer questions on your behalf. But, please feel free to do that. You have qualified for the CD, so you don't have to wait until we close the webinar to get the CD. As I mentioned earlier, you've already qualified to get the free audio CD, so that's going to be coming through. Remember, if you're struggling to book or if you want somebody to speak to you about some of the other products, maybe you want other products without it, or want traditional coaching without this focus on growing your business, just type in your name and not your name, we know your name, type in your phone number and your email address. That's our trigger. So, my team looks for phone numbers and email addresses, and when they're together, they trigger it as we need to follow up with that person. So a lot of you have already done that. Please feel free to do that going forward as well. Otherwise, I'm going to keep quiet for a while and drink some more water. I've been not taking in enough, as you can probably hear while I've been teaching. Again, thank you for all the thank yous. There's just masses of thank yous and appreciation coming through. And that just obviously means a lot to me. So it means I'm giving you value. Louise, absolutely reality check. You will never have more time. Exactly. And there's never a right time, right? That's a kind of myth. If this is important, if you have to grow your business, that becomes the trigger. Okay. And that becomes the trigger that makes us take action. I noticed a couple of guys are from outside of the country. This is obviously an online program, meaning it can be facilitated from anywhere in the world, right? As long as you've got a reasonable internet connection. So that's, if that's a resistance, please, and just go to Google and say rand to dollar or rand to your currency, and it'll tell you how much, if you use a credit card, how much it actually works out to. So we have many students from Nigeria, from Kenya, from Malawi, from numerous other countries, and obviously the neighboring countries as well. Thank you, Robert, one of my other students. Have a good evening yourself. Somebody's watching the recording. So it's so funny, on the chat, I get this, yes, we can hear you. I'm from Cape Town. And that's, because the recording, if you come in while it's live, it lets you watch it as a recording. You don't actually know that it's a recording. So it's quite funny getting that in now. Somebody obviously came in literally a few minutes ago. Fortunately for them, it'll carry on playing for the whole thing. Of course, when I end it, no one will be able to come in anymore. Okay, yeah. So question. That's your name, obviously. Question. You know what? So you're going to get, because you were in the webinar, you will get like a shorter version, but all the content. I'm pretty sure, and correct me if I'm wrong, you should get an email tomorrow morning where you can actually go and catch it up. So yeah, I was going to say you could register for the next one, but it's going to mark you as attended. But we actually send you just exclusively people attended. You can do a bit of catch up on a video. It's limited, but you can take advantage of that question. So that should be cool. Tim Baker is still answering questions from the beginning of the webinar. Tim Baker, you're going to this at the end. Love you, man. It's just kind of weird. I've never experienced it so late into the webinar. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the whole webinar. And, anything that you've heard and any offer that's there, go and check if it's still available if you're interested. Remember to put your phone number and email address preferably together if you want us to contact you, either for one of the other programs that you don't want to take this program up, or if you're struggling to conclude this program or the purchase this program. Just the trigger is your phone number and your email address. Sharad says, curious, do you teach how you can ask the viewers to sign up which country they are from so that you can quote in their local currency as opposed to US dollars? I don't know if you're talking in the reference to me, but yeah, there's various techniques that you can do that with. It's quite challenging. So most payment, if you're talking about online transactions, most payment portals, many of them allow multiple currency, but they only allow you to have one currency per product, and that's where the challenge comes in. There are ways of quite easy at determining when people sign up where they're coming from. There's actually ways you can automate that, but you can also just add it as an option when people sign up for something. But yeah, if you're trying to automate that process, it is a bit of a challenge, and there's reasons for that. It's pretty complicated in terms of currency exchanges. There was a system, I think it was called World Pay, that used to be able to do that. But I don't think they exist anymore, as far as I can know. Systems like Stripe and some of the biggest sort of processes, like Stripe gives you, and you can charge in any currency, but you can only, per product, you can only charge in one currency. You've got to choose which currency you charge in. So, Sharad, if you're one of our students, we can look into that in more depth. I can do some more exploring with our extended network. Sure thing, guys, and thanks again for all the compliments and all the thank yous that are coming through. It's a pleasure, Sharad. All right. I'm going to hang out for the next 7 minutes just in case, because some people are actually coming through and only listening at the end. Libby, B1G1 is buy one, give one. If you actually go to b1g1.com, you should find it. It's an organization that I'm very close friends with the founders that we use. Not big one. It's actually, I think to Sally type in big one. No, B1G1, as in buy one, give one. It's a transactional giving system. All right, I want to mute for a few minutes. Any other questions come up, I will answer them. Please feel free to keep them coming. I'm going to hang here for another 6 minutes with you. 8 o'clock, we'll shut down. Guys, thanks so much. Thanks for the opportunity. It was great to connect with so many people from so many different places. So I really, really appreciate that. Okay, guys, I see a lot of comments coming through. Okay, Sharad, I hear you, buddy. Lots of thank yous again. Thank you. Baker says she lost contact there. All right. Okay, so I think we've handled everything. There's lots more contact details coming through. So we'll be in touch with you guys first thing in the morning. And anyone that's signed up, we will activate. I just want to actually make sure. All right, guys. At least we've got under 100 in the room still, but still 90-something people in the room. Guys, we're going to call it quits. So thanks very much. Thanks for all the wonderful comments and really appreciate that. And well done for those that are joining us. Look forward to working with you guys extensively going forward. And we'll chat soon. Ciao for now.